In the Pits is sponsored by Hustletown Paintball. Hustletown is a brand by Jason Tinsley of Houston that is all about representing Houston paintball and highlighting its local talent. Head to hustletownpaintball.net to browse their selection of casual wear and use code PIT10 for 10% off of your order. In the Pits is partnered with Compete. Compete is a Texas-based brand by Jell Stewart of professional team AC Diesel that provides custom jerseys, pants, headbands, straps, tech shirts, and any other soft goods to help individuals and teams compete at the highest level. Support Texas Paintball and message Compete on Facebook or Instagram and mention In the Pits Podcast for 10% off your entire order. In the Pits is sponsored by FUAthletics, created with a purpose and focused on building a better you. We are a brand that matters in your workout, and every purchase gives back to cancer research. Go to thefuathletics.com and use code INTHEPITS25 for 25% off of your order. In the Pits is partnered with Get Dat Shot. Get Dat Shot now offers first-in-line photo and video editing, 20% off Get Dat Shot merch, and 20% off prints to all teams that wear the Get Dat Shot logo on their jersey. Message GetDat_shot on Facebook or Instagram to become a Get Dat Shot program team. In the Pits is partnered with Paintball Kumite. Paintball Kumite is a program designed by Colt Roberts of professional team San Antonio X Factor to take paintball players of all ages, experience levels, and skill groups and mold them into champions. The program breaks the game down into small, easy-to-learn sessions designed to help you master the fundamentals so that you can elevate your game. Newcomers to the program get a free 1-hour introductory class when mentioning In the Pits. To sign up for a class, message at Paintball Kumite on Instagram. Welcome everybody to episode 39 of In the Pits Paintball Podcast. This podcast is focused on everything that has to do with the paintball scene here in Texas, from professional players and teams to new divisional programs, local tournament series, field owners, Texas-based brands, even photographers and videographers. Every week we'll have a short and sweet episode with a new topic and a new special guest. I'm Christian Smith. I'm a player for the Texas Titans, and this episode we are going in the pits with Clint Riddle, artist for his page Riddlesart. Clint, how are you doing this evening?
Doing great, man. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Name as big as yourself in the paintball community. Living right here in Texas, huge honor, and it's awesome to get these different perspectives from people doing really cool things in the scene. So for those listening that maybe don't know about you personally, how long have you been involved in the Texas paintball scene?
Oh, let's see. I got involved probably like 20 years ago, and then there was a long gap. So 2011 to like last year, I kind of have fallen out of the playing scene, but art picked up. I have to check, but 2 or 3 years ago, as far as really paintball focused artwork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw, just did some scrolling back on your Instagram, and I think the first paintball art piece that I saw was like 4 or 5 years ago. It's been a little while.
Oh. Okay, there you go.
So, and it's really cool to see that it's picked up.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, which do you remember what the first one was? I think it was a sketch, probably.
I want to say it was a sketch. I know that like the bronze statue was pretty early on as well.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah, I did a lot of stuff in college. So, yeah.
Awesome. So, as a player, what teams have you played for over the years?
So, oh gosh, I did a lot of local teams. The first team was with like, my cousins and my brother, and it was team Fat Ass, PHAT. Yeah, I don't know. I was young, and then I played for a little bit. I didn't play any tournaments with them, but I practiced with them a lot out at Farmers Branch Paintball, if anyone remembers that. But it was the team Lawn Gnomes. So it was my brother, who he recurs in my paintball life a lot. And so it was my brother, 2 or 3 guys from like the Northwest. I don't know, like they got transplanted here, and then Mark Johnson. So back in the early days, I think I was shooting like an Angel IR3, and he had
Mm.
his silver SFT, but I could always rely on him to go do like one-on-ones or something. But let's see. So that's lawn gnomes. After that, it really picked up with UNT. So I'm like I want to say like the second generation of
Mhm.
UNT paintball. There was one before me, and it was led by a guy named Jason Niehaus, who's a really big deal in Denton right now, but he's always been a big deal. He's a cool guy, and he just, I saw him at the what would he usually do for college, the meet and greet at orientation or
Yeah.
whatever. So I saw him there, and you know, kind of didn't really think anything of it. Like, oh hey, paintball, that's cool. I've played a few tournaments, and then you know, I think I played rugby my first semester and was like, that's not for me. And then I remembered paintball and I was like, yeah, let's do that. And so I tried it out and played with them for a long stint. I was a super senior, you might
Mm.
say. So I played quite a few years with UNT and got to meet a lot of great folks there. Then I played the last year, like my senior year of college. I played UNT and then I played PSP with a team called Goon Squad.
Okay.
And for your Texans out there, let's see, it was mostly UNT guys, but the Myers brothers were on there. So I feel bad. There was Nick Myers, and I can't remember the other guy's name because we had a nickname for him. Then I never called him by his actual name,
Mhm.
so I feel bad.
Mhm.
But Nick Myers, I know, is still in the scene,
Yes. Mhm.
uh, and it's a great family, great experiences there, and that was like the end of my competitive career, you might say, until recently. And now I've been playing with just some buddies called NTX Fog. So it's a bunch of the UNT alumni just getting together, hanging out. And I'm at the age now, like, I don't want to go out and play with a bunch of dudes that I'm just going to argue with
Mm.
and don't get along with. So now it's like we go out, we have a good time. We still remember how to be competitive and all of that, but we don't lose our cool over stuff. So
Right.
that's where I'm at now.
Cool. Well, I love that NCPA kind of, got you more into the competition for a couple of years. Love the NCPA. I know that it's coming back. There's an event coming up in May. Wish that I could play it, but it's like right in the middle of, I think it's like the week or two before the second Bunker Fest event or something like that. Uh,
Oh,
so
yeah, I gotta.
it's right in the middle of busy season for the tournaments. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But
End of
yeah.
the school year too. So yeah,
Yeah. So your team NTX Fog, are y'all going to be doing any events here coming up?
yeah. I think we've committed to most of Bunkerfest. I don't know that we'll make the Denver one, but all the other ones will be there a week and a half from now. D5 5 man, just having fun. I'm pretty
Awesome.
excited about that. That's cool. Like we got one of the guys is flying in from one of the Carolinas. I can't remember which one, but it's cool to like. I don't know. I really hope this new collegiate league takes off because there's something special about college paintball. Like you don't really get to pick your teammates, and
Mhm.
something about that really uh, makes those relationships more genuine. I don't know about that's not fair to say, but I still talk to a lot of the guys. We'll meet up in Discord. During COVID, we would have Friday night shenanigans, and everyone would get on there and hang out. So hopefully that takes off.
Yeah,
But
hope
yeah,
so.
sorry.
Yeah, it's
Bunkerfest, we're committed.
cool. So we'll see you there. Bunkerfest should be a very good atmosphere. I know I certainly enjoyed the first two. Denver's going to be a 7-man, though. That's going to be a completely different animal.
Yeah, and it's not going to be in Texas. I
Mhm.
think that's another.
Very true.
Summer's hard for a lot of us old folks. We got me and another dude have kids, and everyone's got like other responsibilities. So it's kind of at that age where it's like,
Right.
not so much that. Yeah.
Gotcha. So tell us about how you first got into playing paintball.
Oh, that's a fun one. I was a skater kid growing up, inline
Okay.
skates, aggressive skates, doing all that. And we all, something about that thrill kind of connected, and also the individuality of that, which we could talk about that. That's kind of been lost, I think, in paintball. But uh, we my skate buddies and I went to go play to, what was it called then? I think it was just like Mid Cities Paintball, uh, which came back into my life when I was in college. But anyways, we went and played at at Mid Cities Paintball. It was me, another friend named BJ, and then another guy named Colby Spencer, which is another Texas name that all you guys should know. Uh, but we went and played and just had a blast. I remember
Hmm.
first time I got shot. It was like my first match, first point, whatever you want to call it. Out in the woods. I had my hand over the bunker and my gun resting on it, and I got shot right between the fingers.
Ooh.
Ducked down real quick and like wiped it off, and the ref came and checked me and was like, "Oh, you're good." And I guess that should have been my sign that I was going to be a tournament paintball player. So that's but yeah, so that was middle school, and you know, it just paintball's expensive, and so I didn't stick with it. My buddies did. Colby Spencer did, very much so. He went on to go play for Texas Storm, and I believe I can't remember what event it was. He was part of the team when they won one of the NPPLs,
Hmm.
like old Texas Storm, not in the woods Texas Storm, but Intimidators Texas Storm.
Okay.
So he was a big deal. And he's a cool guy. So let's see. Eventually, my brother he kept getting me back into it. I think he's gotten me like 3 or 4 markers
Hmm.
just over the time, and I kind of just followed suit. He's my older brother, so anything he did, I wanted to do it and better. So uh, he went to Texas State, so he played for them while I was playing for UNT, and that was fun. But yeah, and so back to the NCPA, like we, we're looking for any way to save money, and this one field run by Mark Davis and Ben Rushing, these guys worked a deal out with us because I think one of them was an UNT alumni,
Hmm.
but the field was called Extrinolin Zone, and it was just had potential to be an amazing field. It was a really cool, like one of the only tournament fields around at the time. At least it's in DFW, and they hosted the nationals 2 years in a row for NCPA.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of like solidified. I built a lot of relationships there, and one day as a team, we would go and help out the field in order to like not have to pay entry.
Hmm.
And one day the guy was like, "Hey, do you want a job?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do this." And so I ended up being I don't know if it's technically this, but I was kind of like a field manager for them. Like I answered questions for them.
Hmm.
I don't know,
Right.
but that was a great field, man. That was where I saw my first pro scrimmage. So that was really cool. A little history on the field. Dusty and Devin Odell, their dad, uh, like was the main, like him and Mark Davis were starting that field together. And
Hmm.
sadly, Dusty and Devin's dad passed away, but it was all intended to be a tournament field for Dusty, not for them, but like yeah, sure, whatever,
Right.
for them. So uh, uh, yeah, so every now and then, like Dusty would show up all the time to like just sort of tune his guns and work on stuff, and they scheduled a scrimmage with Chicago Aftershock and them, and I want to say Infamous was there too, but I don't know if you remember the Cohen brothers,
Oh, yeah.
Brett, and I can't remember the other one's name. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Can't remember him
but
either.
one of them had the nastiest like Dorito run through that I'd ever seen. Like, I don't even know how to explain the like shifting of everything he did. He shot 3 dudes, and I was
Hmm.
like so that's pro paintball. Okay, like wow. Um, but yeah, so I got to meet lots of great folks. Justice League used to practice out of there, so that's where kind of where I built my relationship with Shorty.
Mm.
Uh, and you know, it's happenstance. We're not like friends, but he would recognize me, I'd recognize him, type thing. But our crowd used to run together. But yeah, man. I spent honestly like probably 3 years working there,
Cool.
and that was man, that was the dream. Just so many great moments. Like my favorite times there were when I'd have to go mow everything. They had this big like riding lawnmower, and I'd have to mow everything. But like just sort of this like whole like almost like existential like I'm working at a paintball field. Like this
Mm.
is what I'm doing. I'm getting paid to do this. This is nuts. And you know, big shout out to Mark Davis and Ben Rushing on that. They really they're the ones that hired me. So
For sure.
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I think that's most of it. Now, I got to play a few Mech X Ball events out at PB Fit.
Mhm.
Those are paintball's been missing that. That's something that's incredible. Talk about like building a community. Like you are immediately on a team like with a bunch of people that you potentially don't know. Like maybe you have a buddy with you, but automatically you're like, all right, I got to get to know this guy so that we win because that's what we want. Everyone's happier when they win. And dude, I've heard you haven't made it out to one of those yet. But
I have not.
I strongly encourage you to do it. That is like just and I don't know if you ever got to play like old X ball where you get to coach. That there's yeah, you love and hate
Mm.
it. Like the coaching aspect is cool for the spectators, but I don't know. It's so much fun, man. You got to make one this
Oh
summer.
yeah,
You got to make one.
for sure. Yeah,
Maybe not
I've been
summer.
meaning to
It's
come
hot
up.
as balls out there, so maybe not summer.
Yeah,
But
we'll see when, but I'm
yeah,
definitely meaning to come up for one of those. Those sound like a ton of fun. I mean, yeah, for the sideline coaching stuff, I was around. I
okay,
like tail
sweet.
end of when coaching was there, and then it went away. Same with like right around when 12-2 became 10-5. So
Yeah,
I've been around for a little bit. It's just 8 years is nothing compared to a bunch of the other stories that I've heard.
yeah.
Especially not the Odell brothers, but
Dude, I got some
yeah.
stories about Dusty. Like he was the main one that hung out. I'd see him on campus every now and then, and I'm
Mm.
such a fanboy. Like I'd be with my buddies, and I'm like, guys, Dusty Odell. Like he's like paintball royalty. Like, like
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
he was super cool. He'd come out and do like some drills, and I remember vividly there were like four of us out there, and he was like, "Hey, y'all want to like just be runners for me?" And we're like, "Yeah, like that'd be awesome." And so the four of us were shooting back. This is
Mm.
how bad we were. The four of us were shooting back and running, and uh, he's just working on his laning drills, and like he shot all of us like every single time, and I was just like, "What? Like, how do you?
Mhm.
You're magical." And like another one, he would come out and just play. He'd grab one of the piranhas off the rack and just play. And I remember him being in like the corner and shooting back at home or back center and just nailing this kid's hopper with a piranha. I was like,
Mm.
this isn't right, man. Like you're not. That shouldn't be allowed. How'd you do
Mm.
that? So
Yeah,
pros
man.
or something else.
For sure. I mean, there's a reason that they're pro, right?
Hmm.
But especially those names. I mean, those guys weren't just any pros. Like those guys were like known for being very successful at their level.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've been out at this for quite a while now, and you've definitely dropped some legendary names. So this next question, which is brought to us by Hustletown Paintball, head to hustletownpaintball.net. Use code PIT10 for 10% off of your order. So with all the time that you've been around, in and out, and all that, so what are some things that you've noticed that have changed in the Texas scene, either for better or for worse?
Um, I think the change immediately. I think like you, man. Like you're doing this amazing thing, right? Like showing the world. about our culture, and that's it's nuts. Like, and that we can all be connected so easily now.
Mhm.
Like our only connection back then was PB Nation. That was it.
Hmm.
For me, I know some folks played whatever the digital paintball or whatever,
Mhm.
but like um, that's a huge thing. Like to be able to just like paintball. One of the beauties is like it's always been pros have always been accessible, but now it's like just send a message like, "Hey man, good job the other day," or
Mm.
like whatever. Like that's nuts too. So yeah, I that's one thing I think. Like we went out last weekend to practice at Fit during an NXL weekend, which to me I feel like everyone would be focused on that,
Right.
But like we went out and I think we played like 6 points before we played the same line again as far as like other people.
Mhm.
That's nuts. Like you don't like I don't remember going anywhere and practicing and not playing some weird like like group of like other players, like walk-ons, I guess. Like we went there and we played tournament walk-ons. That's cool. I don't know
Mhm.
when that came into play. Like I know X Factor Paintball Park is a huge staple. I haven't
Oh,
made
yeah.
it out there yet, but like, you know, it's it's grown so much, especially in Texas. And the only pro team when I was playing was in Texas was X Factor, if I remember correctly. And
Mm.
now we got like 4 teams.
Yeah, something like that. I
Crazy.
mean, you got X Factor, you got Austin Notorious, you got Heat, which you can say whether or
I'll
not
count it.
that.
I'll count. They're
Yeah,
in.
you
They're
there are a
the
few
names there.
Texas-born players there, and
Yeah.
then of course you got Diesel. So, which is kind of same situation now, but
I mean,
but good number of those players are Texas. I mean, it's just
how
what
many,
4 or
on
5
X
that
Factor are Texas?
most of them. The ones that aren't are
Tom
Billy,
Guess.
Cody Mikowski, Tom Guest. I think that's it. I think it's just those three.
Okay. Who'd they pick up? Oh, sorry.
Cody
Sorry,
Mikowski was their
guys.
most recent one.
No. Last year with a P. Oh, the snake player. Oh my
Mm,
gosh.
Snake players they picked up.
Parrish.
Oh,
Parrish.
LJ Parrish. Yeah, he's also not Texas, but so I'd say probably like 2/3 of the roster,
But
which is
yeah,
still pretty good.
I
Still
don't. Yeah,
counting.
if they're repping the name, then cool. Like, oh,
Mhm.
it's Texas team to me.
For sure. Yeah, and on
Yeah.
your point of like these guys becoming so much more accessible, it and part of that's like the migration that the paintball community in general has had from PB Nation to Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all these other like social media platforms. Um, I mean, just the huge number of connections that a lot of people are making, and then also the increased visibility because it's not just like, hey, you have to go to PB Nation, which is a very specific paintball forum. It's
Yeah.
like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of this stuff where the general public has much more likely to see some of the things that we're doing, which I think is awesome. And yeah, with the pros being more accessible, I mean, those guys are very very nice and approachable, and like if you just want to say like, hey, I'm a big fan, or even asking them questions on things, um I don't know of a single pro that would just brush you off or turn you down or anything like that. They're all super awesome.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of them remember when, like, kind of when they were in our shoes.
Yeah. Well, and even like think about like Dynasty is still Dynasty,
Mhm.
and they're playing them. Like think about like these pros. They're not too far removed from like, oh my gosh, that dude's poster was on my wall or whatever. Like so. I think you're right. Yeah, they still remember that, and it's a really great point.
For sure.
But
So Kind of getting into your current involvement with the scene. As of now, anyway, you're most known in the paintball community for your artwork, which are depicting great players, great moments in the tournament scene. Such as, you got Tim Montresor in the background of your shot right there. That's one of my favorite that you've done. So I know you're also a high school art teacher, and I think that's really cool that you're able to like bring those two passions together in your Riddlesart content, at least for the paintball focused stuff. So tell us about what brought you to begin doing artwork for like paintball moments and players.
Yeah. So in college, I was playing in college, so I had the bug. Was thinking about it all the time. I did some design classes for a stint as interior design and would be sketching like paintball jersey designs or whatever. And that's why I didn't do that great at interior design. But yeah, I would work it into a lot of my like artwork as far as I did a few paintings of paintball in college, and then that bronze sculpture was during my sculpture class. So when you're going for art education, you have to take just all of the different medias, and they were like, do a bronze cast, and I was like, yeah, okay, like so. You sculpt it out of wax, and it's called the lost wax method. But you sculpt your art out of wax, and then you cover it in this, can't remember what it's called, but this weird plaster stuff that hardens, and you melt all the wax out and pour the bronze in, and voila. So that was the start of it, and kind of got into like the fine art mentality. Like I don't know how paintball, this thing that's just fun for me, like I don't know how to put that into a fine art mindset. So there was again sort of like a gap, and just did some sketches. I started a series where I was just sketching paintball markers that I'd had over time, and that was a lot of fun. And I did one of Shorty, which is probably maybe my favorite. I don't want to offend anyone, but I think that one that was a fun one.
Is that the load when you can one?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That one, it took a long time, but it was so cool, and it was cool like to have people like ask to buy it. I was like, oh, okay. Like I've sold art before, and I don't just do paintball stuff, but now it's mostly what I do. And to have someone like want to buy a paintball thing, that was really validating, and like, oh, maybe I could do this, and I enjoy this a lot. I like painting, but making paintball stuff I really like. So yeah, that's kind of like how I got into this. And then like a lot of folks, COVID, that's when I think I got COVID on Christmas a couple of years ago. So I was kind of like quarantined, and I've got 4 kids, so usually I'm hanging out with my wife, hanging out with my kids, and doing all that stuff. But when I'm like quarantined, it's like, well, I guess I can focus on this stuff. And so that was the first like poster design that I did. Was during quarantine, and then actually both of these were ones that I finished during quarantine.
Gotcha.
And as an art teacher, I'm always trying to, like, I don't know if they say this in music, but like with art, they say art teachers are a jack of all trades, master of none. And it's kind of, sadly, it's kind of true, but I'm stubborn, and I'm like, well, I want to be a master of all of them. So I'm gonna work on all of them as much as I can. And so, it's kind of why there's a lot of diversity in that, and it's kind of sometimes you get bored with one aspect and you want to go to something else. So there's always lots of things going on.
Yeah, I mean, as an elementary music teacher specifically, that there's definitely kind of a similar thing, but it's not like jack of all trades, master of none. It's more like you are the kind of gateway to this to music, or in your case to art, for these students. And so it's your duty or responsibility to show them all these different cultures, styles, instruments.
I love that, man.
So
I'm stealing that. That's great. The
yeah,
gateway for, yeah, that's a much better perspective. I like that.
for sure. And for anybody who has not seen your load when you can artwork, I've got the
Hey,
zine that you sent me. So this is what it looks like.
nice.
And
Nice.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
definitely a absolutely killer piece that you've done. So well done for that. So yeah, so you also mentioned that paintball is not the only stuff that you post. For example, more recently for Black History Month, you've posted like artists we should know. You've also posted other creations through lots of different mediums, like painting, sketches, things like that. So, would you say you have a specific focus or an objective or a goal for the type of content that you're posting, or all of these things just what you enjoy?
I enjoy a lot of, yeah, definitely like, I don't ever want to be disingenuous in what I'm posting. Like, I want it to be things that I care about. It's pretty curated what I throw out there as far as like, yeah, just is whatever I put out there. I want to be genuine, and paintball is a huge part of it. But every now and then, like sometimes I want to draw a cow skull, or
Mhm.
like I have, or whatever. Like, uh, you know, you can always practice with everything. Like anytime you're making art, it's contributing to like your Rolodex of talents or skills that you can build towards just you as an
Mhm.
artist as a whole. Artists you should know. Yeah, I'm a teacher like that. Kind of feel like everyone should know these people. They're amazing artists, and we need to talk about them. And there's a huge deficiency in it's getting much better, but it's not there yet as
Mhm.
far as recognizing black artists, and specifically female black artists. Like I remember vividly one time in college, our drawing professor just threw out a question at the end of class. It was like, "Hey, everyone, we're gonna go in a circle, and everyone's gonna say their favorite female artist." And a very famous female artist is Georgia O'Keeffe, and she's great. But a lot of people, that was the only artist we knew because that was
Mhm.
all that got taught in high school, maybe. And so that stuck with me. It's like, all right, I need to make sure we're all doing that. And I have a lot of great coworkers who uh, make sure to expose me to all sorts of other great artists. So, uh, yeah, man. As far as content, just I definitely like want to be paintball focused, and I'm trying real hard to figure out how to like, squeeze paintball art into the fine art realm,
Mhm.
and it's a very niche area, but it's still like it's what I was trained in, and it's what I intend to make, and um, we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's I definitely could not name anybody else that's doing what you do. It's very unique. I mean, so much so that you've definitely like made a huge name for yourself, at least in the larger paintball community. Evidenced by the iconic awards that you were nominated
That's
for, which
nuts.
we'll talk about that in here in a little
Yeah,
bit. But this
yeah.
next question is brought to us by Paintball Kumite. Message at Paintball Kumite on Instagram to sign up for a class and mention the show for a free 1 hour session. So, out of all of the different pieces, creations that you do, are there any artists out there whose style you try to emulate?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Uh, Colt's like my patron. Colt Roberts is great. So he commissions me to do a lot of things. So much love, Colt. Thank you. Artists that I emulate, try to emulate. Try
Mm,
keyword right there is try to emulate. Let's see. You know, I've tried as far. So there's a guy named Mads Berg who is a designer, and he I took one of his like online classes because I was like, this is cool. I want to do this, and it was the Art Deco style. So I've leaned on him a lot, and uh, really pulled from him and Art Deco in general. I pull a lot of references from that to work on, especially those posters. Um, illustrators like Norman Rockwell, someone a lot of people might know. He's incredible, and how he can tell a story and pack a whole bunch into one image. I really appreciate. Kadir Nelson, who's one of the artists I mentioned, but he's another illustrator who his ability to make people look monumental and heroic in a normal scene, like that is something that I strive for in a lot of paintings, and I don't know how he does it. Like he's incredible. Uh, sorry, my wife
Yeah,
is
you're good.
texting me. She said, I think you really emulate Andy Warhol, and I don't. But, there's current artists and designers that I am inspired by. The big one is Aaron Draplin, who's like this huge teddy bear of a human that does these amazing designs, and he got to start in like snowboard design, snowboard culture, I guess. And then there's a guy, I don't know his actual name, but his Instagram name is This Is Blaze, and he does these bright, vibrant, really cool designs. I'm gonna forget his name. Eaton is his last name. I can't remember. Oh my gosh, I feel like a jerk. But this guy does amazing designs, so I want everyone to go look at his stuff. Him and his brother both make art, but sorry, let me find it. Tristan Eaton does amazing designs where he's just like collaging all these different things together, and then he like spray paints it. And I don't know if anyone's ever like actually tried to spray paint realistically. Like tagging is one thing, or letters. Like it's hard, but it's not like when you're trying to paint representationally with spray paint. Like that is.
Oh man, yeah, I'm looking at some of his stuff right now. That is.
He's cool. He did the Super Bowl tickets not too long ago, and he's done a lot of things that are like next level. And then, Shepard Fairey, like he's a big deal. That's Obey. Sorry, if you guys know Obey Giant, he's that artist. And there's so many, man. I don't know how to wrap it all into like one cohesive answer, but like, and I'm pulling inspiration all the time. There's like so many, like especially with internet, you can find so many amazing artists, and Instagram's a great source for that.
Absolutely. I mean, look at all of those people. You can look up right now, and you'll have access to just so many things. And it's awesome that you're able to draw on so many different sources of inspiration, styles, mediums.
Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta mention one. Andy Howell is like a skateboard designer that like in college I discovered him and was like, I want to be this guy. And he's kind of more established now, and his Instagram account isn't a whole bunch of his art, but it is that was my first like, I think I want to be one of these guys. Like I want to be a designer, I want to be an artist. So,
cool.
Yeah, sorry man, I cut you off.
No, you're good. It's really cool to learn about this whole world that I'm sure that many people, including myself, aren't very knowledgeable in. I mean, we're just seeing really some things from yourself that are really like kind of our whole idea of this different medium and what's possible. And it's really awesome to be able to get so many different people that now we're learning about. So all of these different pieces that you've done personally come through a lot of different mediums. So you've done like paintings, charcoal, watercolor, drawings, a lot of digital art. You even did that bronze sculpture. So tell us about the different techniques and the different mediums you use and which ones are your favorite.
Oof. It's like think about like paintball. Like if you're gonna go play a pump event, you're gonna feel like
Mm.
a weirdo if you show up with a laser gun, or what do they call them, space guns?
Space guns, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I love charcoal. That was like there's a connection with me because my first big like recognition in art school was with charcoal, and like when the professors were like more than one professor was talking about it, I was like, oh, that's cool. Must have done something right. And so I like it all. I think it's more about the final image, really. That's like what draws me to it, or catering towards it. Sometimes I get commissions, and it's like I can't afford to get that done
Mm.
before this date, or like none of this is going to dry before the due date. So I'll go digital, or um, and I enjoy digital a lot. But honestly, those posters, that process is a lot of research. To make
Mm.
another paintball analogy, it's like I'm doing a lot of upfront research, trying to find the image, that best suits the player, trying researching the player and their personality to make sure I'm representing them well, and the company well. So I relate that to like walking a field. You can walk a field for 5 minutes and get blown out of the water every point, or you spend, you know, be the first to the field to walk it and make sure you know all the shots, all that, and then you go play. So it's like there's a whole bunch of me figuring out what's best for the final product. Then I finally get into the final product. So that's a process for those posters for like Iconic or Hormesis. Um, let's see, these like the paintings, yeah, still pulling a lot of references, and I feel a little more confident in that. I've been doing that
Mm.
longer, so I'm a little bit more proficient with those. Uh, yeah. Any other
Yeah.
any like specific processes you want to know about?
Yeah. So as far as the final images that you're creating, are you pulling up like let's say a picture of someone playing like Ryan Greenspan or Billy Bonaccia? Are you pulling up a picture of them that you're recreating through these different media
Oh yeah,
like forms,
yeah,
or are you like do you have anything where you're just generally looking at this person and then maybe doing a unique pose of them?
yeah. Both. So like
Okay.
this one behind me, Tim, was a compilation of a bunch of different photos. So like even like I think he's wearing like V forces, and then the photo of him is, and then the jersey he's wearing. It was like I want this jersey, I want this photo. Like I like the angle and the lighting in this photo for his face, and then the mask. And so
Mhm.
I'll I teach digital media, so I'm working in all the Adobe programs all the time. And so I jumped into Photoshop and composited all those photos together to do that. This one back here is a still life. So that was another COVID thing. I set up that whole still life, and lit it, everything, and just worked from observation.
Mhm.
And um, yeah, I lean pretty hard on a lot of our media guys. Like I still try to make the photos mine. Like I want to make sure I'm not just straight up stealing. And I've even asked a lot of folks like Verbal. I He had a sweet shot of um, Hinman that
Mhm.
I was like, I want to paint that. That's cool. And so I just painted, worked right from that photo, and and then I wanted to pick another photo, several other of his photos. I was like, hey, can I just give you this painting and
Mhm.
work from some of your photos. And he's such a cool dude.
Oh yeah.
He's like, yeah, man. Like, so
Yeah, shout out to Brian.
yeah,
Cool guy for sure. And he's absolute juggernaut in what he does.
yeah, he is, and the nicest guy. Like, I don't know how people are like just so nice to strangers.
Mm.
I like walked up to him at one of the mech events. It's like, hey man, you don't know me, but I told you I'd give you this painting a while ago. Here you go. And he's like, oh, like I don't even know if he remembered that, but he
Mm.
was the nicest guy, and again, like like attainable. I just reached out through Instagram to talk to him, and he's cool too.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah.
So, I mean, with all of the different creations that you have, like for example, like the iconic award posters that you did, were those all, I'm assuming, also based off of different photos, or were you pulling kind of unique poses for each of those?
Oh, okay. So like, yeah, several of those the inspiration was pulled from other posters
Mm.
or comic book covers. Like the Rocketeer of that dude. Like I leaned on him. So the Icon of the Year award for Marcelo
Mhm.
2 years ago. Uh, he yeah, that was like a Rocketeer inspired image. Um, and then there's a lot of Art Deco ones where I look at the composition and I'm like, this fits this certain like aspect, or like how do I fit certain, Chris Shear. I really liked his poster,
Mm.
the way that turned out, because I saw this composition where I could fit a Dorito in, and it kind of made sense, and these other like design elements that made sense. Um, yeah, I pulled. Let's see, who else was it? There was another Marcelo, which I loved. I liked that more than I liked his defensive poster
Mm.
more than his iconic one. And then who else? Billy. That was actually so. The inspiration for that was from it was a movie poster. And I can't remember what it was, but it was like a scary movie where like it was a Shining. That's what it was. The door opening and
Mm.
that light coming out, and I was like, "That's dope. I'm using that." So, I pick and pull from all sorts of stuff. Who else? I'm missing someone. Oh, and the Yarber poster was there were some elements of that I pulled from like Art Deco and the Great Gatsby movie posters. There, I was like, yeah, that's cool. So it again. I mean, The Shining was kind of like serendipitous in a way.
Mm.
Like, I can't imagine playing against Billy. Like, could you? Like, that would be
Yeah,
terrifying. Like, and that dude just coming down like and destroying you. Like, he's next level.
for
I think
sure.
about him as a Snake player. Like, I think I was listening to PTG guys talk to Alex about being like a designated Snake player, and I
Mm.
was like, he's pretty. They were talking about being like a universal player, and I was like, yeah, but like, why wouldn't you want Billy and the Snake? Like, he's the best.
Mm.
Like he's so good. Like you just don't question. Like, yeah, he's gonna go there. And like, sorry, I'm going off
No,
on a
you're
tangent.
good.
He's a really good Snake player.
Absolutely. Yeah.
um,
And I think that there's a reason why he is now an iconic award player for
mhm.
what he does. And it is definitely awesome to get to watch whenever X Factor comes down for a scrimmage. That guy's insane. So yeah. So
That whole team.
real quick, for anybody that's here in the chat, if you have something that you want to ask Clint, go ahead and get your questions in the chat, and we'll get to them toward the end. So, in addition to all of like the physical pieces you do, you've done a lot of digital NFTs of some of your pieces, such as your St. Thomas Kim and your Bob Ross, Todd Martinez, Joy of Paintball. So,
Yeah.
what is the process as far as turning those digital creations into NFTs. What does that look like? And has this been like another way for you to market yourself or market your work? Like, has that been successful for you?
Uh, how do you define success?
Mm.
Like financially, no, not at all. But you know, it's kind of cool. Like I said, I'm a fanboy, so like making that poster or that design of the joy of paintball
Mm.
uh, was huge for me. Like um, Todd Martinez had commented on it. I was like, hey, it's cool. Like reached out and I'm like, dude, when would I ever like have this interaction with Todd Martinez?
Mm.
Never. And like he seems like a really nice guy. But Thomas Kim, that was cool because initially I wanted to do sort of like a YouTube channel where I like discuss these players and tell the world about them and sort of their story. And I sent him some questions and kind of got to know him, but like, you know, we made a connection through like him doing stained glass, which he's an incredible stained glass artist. Like
Mm.
that stuff is next level. He did the sweet one of like I want to say it was like a GT, like an old GT at sunset, and you guys gotta check his stuff out.
Cool.
But yeah, getting to like kind of know him, and make that stuff that was cool. And it was, I believe, his. You can check me on this. Go check the metadata, but I'm pretty sure his was the first professional NFT that went out. I know Rye Guy sold some, but
Mm.
I think mine was posted before him. Anyway, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, those are I just kind of like the real draw for NFTs for me is the smart contract, which is like I don't want to go into the weeds with this, but it's just in the art world, provenance is a big deal. Once you get 50, 60 years down the road, is being able to trace the artwork and where it's
Mm.
been. And I just kind of got like a cool like long term image of that with these smart contracts, and was like, kids will be able to trace this and be like, oh yeah, that's what that is, or like someone down the line will be able to trace it. And there's other things about it that are cool, but I've not sold like the Thomas Kim. The initial idea was that I would make sort of like these digital trading cards, and it just paintball trading cards is doing great things,
Mm.
and I was like, there's no way I can like produce as quickly as they do. Like they're
Right.
cranking these things out, and so it sort of shifted over to like a fine art thing, and I think rightfully so. Like that, I love that Thomas Kim thing, like the Saint Tom,
Mm.
because man, what a. I hope he comes back soon. Like that, I'm bummed that he's taking a. I hope it's just a hiatus. I hope he comes back. Like that dude, he went out with a bang. Like
Yeah.
he should have like gotten MVP. I think at World Cup. Like he saved them so many times and
Mm.
had so many amazing moves. So
Yeah,
sorry, like I
he
said, I'm
definitely
a
has
fanboy. So
plenty left in the tank for sure.
yeah, I'm hoping he comes back. If you're out there, man, we miss you. So please
Sure.
come back.
Awesome. So, with everything that you've done, either playing, creating digitally, physical art, what has been your favorite moment in your career so far?
Ooh, um, hmm. That's sort of like threefold, I guess.
If you want to separate it
give
into
me
different categories, go right ahead.
yeah. I'll do this as a father and a husband. Like the coolest part has been being able to introduce my kids to paintball
Mm.
and just get some stories from that. I in the zine I tell a story of my oldest son Tuck playing and sort of talking to him through all those like first time jitters. And then recently my wife and my daughter went and played with us, and Dude, that was I don't know, something so cool. My daughter, she's a daddy's girl. She was like, "I
Mm.
love this," and like she got shot one time, like probably in the legs, which is like, we're playing 68 caliber, so she's 11 and just
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah. So
So she's
I was like,
tough.
yeah, she is. She's awesome, and my wife's tough too. She took a shot to the hand and was like, "Yeah, it
Ooh.
wasn't that bad." And so those are great moments, and like just being able to share something that you love with your family is don't forget that. That's a really cool thing. Um, as an artist, just this whole experience, like the fact that like anybody cares about it is cool. Like, um, I love this. I make it because I enjoy it, and I hope other people do. But it's not like if they don't in the end, then it's like I'm proud of what I made. I tell my students all the
Mm.
time, like, just make something you're proud of. Like that's like what we're here for. Like, yeah, you're gonna fail, but like still in the right direction and learn something from that and be proud of the effort you put into it. And that's with my art pieces. I'm not to sound vain, but I'm proud of it, and it's really really cool that anybody else gives a damn about it. Like I
Hmm.
think that's so cool.
Oh yeah.
Then as a player, going back to my last year with NTX with UNT was we were at nationals in Florida and we were playing. I guess it was Nebraska, but that was
Mm.
when the vicious
Ah,
like
yes,
several of the
yes.
vicious
Vicious
players were
was over
there.
at UNO. Yep.
Yeah, which was we were we were in college and angsty and like, oh, can you believe this? What
Mm.
and I made the connection, like just sort of thinking about this earlier. Like I remember playing Dusty Odell and getting obliterated 1-on-4, and then we go to play these dudes, and several of them are pro players, and I don't know if anyone else wasn't or whatever, but like they play on the same pro team. It wasn't just like
Hmm.
a throw together team, and we beat them. It was a best of three thing, and we beat them. And what was the brother or the what was his name? Bortle, Bortle, but I can't remember. But I don't know. I remember us like I thought we made it. Like oh my gosh, we just shot these dudes like and we
Mm.
adjusted our plan accordingly and like we made these adjustments, we scouted them and we're like okay they're probably gonna do this next time so we need to adjust our lanes or whatever and it worked and it was like that was such a cool moment to be like yeah like we beat these pros like I'm
Yeah, man.
sure if we played x-ball like they would just wipe the like just totally destroy us so
Yeah, that's why.
but
That's why college best 2 out of 3 is an awesome format. Just anything can happen any given Sunday,
yeah
right?
yeah dude we gotta talk about ncpa some more
Oh, for sure.
there's so
Uh,
much.
Real quick, speaking of NCPA, you got Jonathan Tarum in the chat saying, "Hey, I know that guy."
JT.
And NTX. Yep. All
Yep, it's one of the guys.
right, and
Yeah,
then
we so that's a fun story. We went by NTX for like 3 years
mhm,
because the school wouldn't acknowledge it. They didn't want to
right.
acknowledge us. And then we finally like we're like, hey, here's our rank. Like you're sponsor you're acknowledging all these other teams that suck. Like uh what's the deal there? And finally they were like, okay, you can use NT, and it
Mhm.
kind of had a sour taste, so we still
Yeah.
went by NTX. And yeah,
Yeah, I know
sorry,
exactly what
man.
that's like.
That's
We had kind of similar restrictions. Like, uh, the University of Texas is very peculiar about their logo and their branding. They are very
oh yeah,
protective of it, like almost as much
yeah,
as like Disney is protective of their IPs. So,
yeah,
like, it didn't matter what student organization you were. If you had like T-shirts or anything, you couldn't use the word like Longhorns, or you couldn't say university like team or whatever. You just
yeah,
had to say like Texas Paintball, and technically it's like, oh, it's just the state, you know. So, and it could be like I don't remember if like the color burnt orange was restricted or whatever, or if it was like a specific shade or whatever, but there was
Yeah.
definitely some restrictions. So like on our college like t-shirts that we did as fundraisers, we had to just say Texas Paintball, like of whenever we were competing at events and using like the jerseys, then yeah, we could use a Longhorn, we could have the university seal on it. But other than that, like if it was stuff that was going out to the public, essentially it was restricted. So I know
Yeah.
all about that.
Yeah. It was, I don't know, man. They're kind of weird about that. I guess I
Mm,
get it, but it was just kind of like, okay, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
maybe they're pushing creativity. I don't know if y'all can see it. This black shirt uh, was one of our fundraisers behind
Mm,
me. Yeah, maybe I'll post a picture later. But it was fun. Like you had to get so creative with college, like recruiting, finding any sort of income. Like you learned how to be a good team. I think that's why I feel like there's a lot of like NCPA guys that are in the ranks of
mhm,
NXL and just really keeping the sport alive. So
mhm. Yeah, and I think a big part of it was like, hey, if you don't make it happen, it's not going to happen.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that was a big
and
lesson that a lot of college players had to learn, where it's like, hey, if you don't do this, no one else is like, coming to help save
yeah.
it for you. And
You already got like your partner, your business partners there. You know, like you got people to like, yeah, we'll do that. We got this.
mhm,
Like you got your
yeah,
teammates there, and
for sure.
that's so maybe we owe them a thank you for making life difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, college paintball was definitely a great time though. So another question in the chat from D Hutch. Is Clint still in North Texas? And if so, what's your favorite park or field to visit?
Oh, okay. D Hutch. Uh, yeah, I'm still in North Texas, and Paintball Fit is as like I've not made it out to Giant yet. I still want to make it to X Factor, but that's a hike for me.
Mhm.
And uh, yeah, Paintball Fit's probably. Oh, it depends. If I want to see tournament players, Paintball Fit, 100%. But Fun on the Run, which is a historic park, is just down the street from me, and that is a very well run field. Like they have, first off, like for any paintball field, they have like indoor bathrooms. They're not porta potties, which is cool, especially if you want to take like your daughter or your wife. Like those are amenities that we're getting there. They should be a little more established, but
Mhm.
each field has their own. I kind of know the behind the scenes of fields, and like if you have to lease the land, like it's like I get that, but that's a pretty great selling point for me,
Mhm.
which is stupid, but
No, it definitely makes
otherwise,
sense.
Fun on the Run is like their pro shop is amazing, and it's like right there, and it's nice, it's clean, it's indoor, and it's just very well run. And
Mhm.
as far as like walk-ons go, that is a great experience. I got to play with my oldest son, who's actually one of my students, uh, and he brought for his birthday a bunch of his buddies out there. So, and they were also some of my students. So
Mhm.
that was a really unique experience to play paintball
Yeah, for
with
sure.
students. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
TV Fit or Fun on the Run.
I have a friend who's a high school band director up in let's see, he's in Round Rock or somewhere north of Austin, and every year what he does for all of his graduating seniors, he brings them out to outlaw paintball in Pflugerville and gets to play with them. I think that's a really cool and fun thing that he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. Next question, which is brought to us by FU Athletics. Go to thefuathletics.com and use code inthepits25 for 25% off of your order. So just a few months ago, you were nominated for the 2022 Iconic Awards as a Creator of the Year. And you went up against the likes of the Play the Game podcast, the Spick and Span Show, Mafia Productions, and Hormesis themselves. So how is it being a nominee of this honor?
Uh, I don't know how you put that in words, man. Like, I think I hold that to be one of the most of my life. To
Mm.
be mentioned anywhere near those guys, like that was nuts. When they told me like, "Hey, we're gonna make you a nominee," and I was like, "I don't think you have the right number, man. Like this is," and I know Quinn, like, but I was like, dude, this is nuts. Like, that was a really special moment, and I'm so grateful for that. And like Hormesis came and like commented on it, like, "Oh, we hope you win." I'm like, that is like to be in the runnings with all these classy dudes. I don't know Mafia yet. Or is that right? Mafia.
Yeah, Mafia
Moffat?
Productions.
Mafia.
Yeah,
Mafia
his
Productions.
name is
Like
Ryan Moffat. Yes.
Ryan Moffat. Yeah, I don't know him yet. I look forward to getting to know him, and he seems like an amazing dude. But like all those guys are just you know icons
Mhm.
in the sport, and I'm like, I got imposter syndrome right now, man. This is nuts. Like, so that was huge. That was I haven't quite figured out how to put that in words, how
Mm.
unreal it was. So
Yeah. There's some huge names that are doing really, really cool things and just being a huge part of the community. I know exactly what you're feeling. Over a couple of weeks ago, right the week before NXL, I was lucky enough to get an opportunity to go travel with X Factor to their scrimmage over at Wasteland Paintball Park in Houston, or just north of Houston.
oh man.
And
That's
while I
another one
was
on the list.
there, yeah, there were a couple of players, the field owner, they were like, "Oh, are you within the pits?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And
Like I
I was
am
like,
in
"Yeah, that's me."
like,
So, just
dude.
being able to get recognized here and there, I'm like, am I really at that point? Like, I don't, I don't
You are,
feel
man.
like I
Dude,
should be,
no,
you know?
you got great guests. Like you nail it, man. I appreciate what you do so much,
Yeah,
and it's so
and
cool that it's like Texas focused. I'm in
mhm.
line with that. I like it.
Yeah, and I don't want to make it about me. I try to always just make it about the guests. And
Well, you deserve some acknowledgement. So
yeah,
keep
I
it
mean,
up.
I had my one episode with Colt, so I'll take that. But yeah,
Yeah.
like even with the water bottle here, I'm just trying to feature as many Texas entities as I can. We got some teams:
Yeah,
Hypnotic, Get That Shot, Bunker Fest.
dude.
Got you right here,
Big
Riddlesart.
hitters. Yeah.
I got FUAthletics. Got this is Styx Media, who's a photographer, videographer down here at X Factor.
Nice.
Of course, you got the USXBL. You've got Under. This is actually one of my college friends, Bryn, who's she's a musician here in Austin. So
Nice.
go check her out on Spotify. It's Bryn Bowman. And then
Nice.
you've got the Dragoons. Of course, shout out to Sasha, who's one of my biggest supporters. He was actually at traveling with X Factor to be some of their pit crew during the NXL, and on Friday he was wearing his in the pit shirts in the pit, so it was cool. Like,
I saw that.
I'm like,
Those are
oh
great.
shit, I'm on the webcast. Let's go.
He's a cool dude. I'll sneak into. Oh gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'll sneak into his DMs. I'll send him a message every now and then. And I think he was working on an Intimidator the other day, and for some reason I have an old like 2K5 board. Someone told me it was a Texas Storm board, which meant it was super cheater mode. But I don't know. I never shot at Timmy, but I've been trying to like give it to someone ever since I got it. I was like, I want to see what it does. So, but he's a cool dude, and
yeah, Sasha's definitely the guy to talk to about that.
His pod memes are hilarious.
Yes, they are. And why X Factor picked Sasha and trusted him of all people with their pods, I will never understand.
He like inspired me. I want to do a little like series of just sort of like trying to make pods. It'll work sort of in a weird cyclical way, but like I want to put designs on pods in some cool way so that they're like
that would
really
be awesome.
valuable.
Yeah, commission pods. Yeah,
that they don't get stolen. But I remember like if someone had a unique pod,
that's getting
like,
snatched.
Yoink.
100%. Yeah, the stickers make it like a pod exchange program type deal. That's what I call it.
Maybe if I put like a little like a tracker chip on the pod so that you can always find it.
Or just do like put a QR code on that or something and be like, hey, if you get this pod, post up and tag, hashtag this or whatever. That'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be dope. Yeah, I'm doing that. That's cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So do you have any more plans for more creations this year? Like any upcoming commissions or anything like that? Or just things that you want to work on?
Yeah, I've been dude, like I got a commission today that was awesome. But I'm always working on stuff. And there's always things like on my mind that I'm going for. I am kind of like I'm planning to shift, not quite out of paintball, but really like my son has a form of muscular dystrophy called Duchenne muscular dystrophy, which is just it wreaks havoc. It sucks, but I want to like find a way to help bring awareness to that. And so there's a great company called Cure Duchenne, and I've seen Michael Diaz and XXV, the label, and what he does, and I'm like, I got to find a way to work with him. Maybe make some sweet shirts that'll just, proceeds go towards helping find a cure for this. And it's something like that. Like that's for a while, paintball art was sort of a way of kind of coping with that. Like just almost, I don't want to say like a way to escape it, but like a way to like sort of be able to think about things. And once you get into a piece of artwork, you're able to just sort of know what you need to do, and then you're just with your thoughts. And I was able to really work through some stuff, and to a point now where it's like, yeah, I need to bring some awareness to this. So I think I'm gonna reach out to him. He did a commission the other day, and man, I don't know, like it's just so cool. The world is so cool. Like I just briefly, he sent me this image that he wanted, and I was like, okay, yeah. So tell me about this. Tell me the story behind this. And he had this amazing story about this photo and what it meant to him. And I was like, I feel like we're brothers now, man. Like let's, like you just sort of, you never know what'll happen when you ask a question. And I urge everyone to like ask questions, get to know some folks, and maybe make yourself a little vulnerable out there. But yeah, I've got that. So that's something that's in the works. I also just trying to figure out like a sort of subscription method for like these zines that I've done. I have plans. I've got a whiteboard in the garage with like my goals there, and one is to have a quarterly zine.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna redo the Texas edition in April. I'll try to have a few copies out. So if y'all find me at Bunkerfest, and if anyone wants one, just come ask me. I should have a few. I'll sort of do a not reboot, but send that out again in April, and then 4 months after that, the next quarter, I'll have the second edition, which I've got some cool plans for. But I'm not sure. Like printing's expensive, dude. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, it is.
I tried FedEx, I tried UPS, and like I'm at the point where like I think I just need to buy like a nice printer and just do it myself, because by the time I make, I did a run of 50 with the one that you have, and that, I was talking to friends who probably printed things for me that they shouldn't have, and I was like, hey man, can you do this for me, and you print these for me? I'll buy the paper if that's cool, but like those things cost like, if I was to go through FedEx, it'd be like $10 a pop.
Jeez.
Yeah, and so I did not do that, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. So I think a subscription method for that probably what'll help make that happen. I don't know if I want to do like the Instagram subscription or the Patreon yet, so I'm working through that. And
Gotcha.
then on that whiteboard, there's another goal that I'm really trying to wrap my head around it and figure this out. Like I'd love to have a gallery type thing. I don't know what it would look like, but at World Cup, maybe if I find like a pop-up space that I could put some stuff up, so that I don't know.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Just
And
honestly,
you
I've never
could
been to the World Cup, so
you could do that at Bunkerfest. I mean, I know there's like, no vendor fees or anything. You could definitely set up a booth. That would be something really cool if you ever, got to that point where you consider that.
yeah. I think that's definitely like a good. I need to get on it for the next event for
Mhm.
that. The Yeah, I got to figure that out because the main thing I'm worried about, not so much like traffic, it's more like the weather. Like,
Uh,
how hot is it gonna be? How's this gonna affect the artwork? But
right.
I'll figure it out. But that was huge. I remember when he announced that, like the gears started turning. I was like, oh man, these guys are about it. Like
Mhm.
free vendors? Like, you kidding me? So
Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe you could do some on-site art. I don't know if you ever do any like caricatures or anything like that, but I'm sure a lot of paintball players would love something like that.
I that's one video I have not excelled at was caricatures. But I could do some like the French call it en plein air, like so when you go just paint what's in front of you.
Mhm.
So I've been wanting to do that actually, but it's usually when I get to a paintball field, it's to play, and
Right.
I need to just set aside a weekend or a day to just go paint,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
see what that's like.
For sure. So you already kind of talked about your plan for the zines, which I was very surprised to have gotten a mention in this issue. Toward the back, you
Dude,
mentioned a couple of cool individuals doing really cool things like Yosh Designs. Dylan filmed it, and then Nico Hyde, Enjoy Paintball. So I was cool to be mentioned among those names. So you told us you have more editions. Like your plan is to do them quarterly, and then as far as everything else that you do, where can everyone go to support you, either by viewing or maybe donating or purchasing your art?
hit me up on Instagram is the best way to get in contact with me. It's just at Riddles Art, so RIDDLESART. That's my Instagram handle, and then yeah, go there, go follow it, and I'll once I get this subscription thing figured out, I'll shout it from the rooftops. You guys will know. Uh, and then if you want to commission stuff, I've had several people just reach out like, hey man, how much to do this, and I'll talk with you. I'm
Mhm.
happy to work with folks. Yeah, Instagram's the main source.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Clint Riddle at Venmo if you're just feeling generous. But
Okay, got it. Yeah, you can't forget the Venmo, and then I know you said you
yeah,
have Patreon, or you're considering a Patreon, or
I have one. I haven't like published it yet. I'm still trying to figure out how like
mm,
most of my following is Instagram. Like all of my following is Instagram. So they have their subscription method, but from what I see, it's only one thing, like one amount.
okay.
And I just want to make sure I'm like whatever product I put out there, I want to make sure that I'm honoring that. Like I don't want someone to like get a zine and be like, spent money for this. Like I want
Mhm.
to make sure I'm honoring you guys. I want to make sure you guys are getting your money's worth. So
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So yeah, go to Instagram. That's at Riddles Art, and then reach out to him for some commissions. I mean, you've seen the stuff that he's posted so far. It's uh, definitely well worth the investment. So, this next question is brought to us by Get Dat Shot. Message Get Dat _shot on Facebook or Instagram for media coverage at Bunkerfest or NXL. So, is there anybody in Texas, either teams, players, brands, projects, anybody that's caught your attention who in Texas deserves more recognition for what they're doing?
uh, any media person that is on the field deserves more recognition and respect and thank yous. Like I'm talking, like these guys are going out there getting shot and not being able to shoot you back, and like, and they know you don't mean to shoot them, but man, they like. I think Fava posted something the other day of like just some of the welts he got, and I was like, oh my gosh, man, like, and
Mhm.
Yeah, they're getting paid, but I like anyone there. Like, I feel like it should be mandatory. It should be understood. Like, if you accidentally shoot a media guy, you need to like Venmo them or hand them a beer or something. Like, come on, guys. Like, that is like they're showing the world what we do,
Mm.
and you gotta. They all need respect. Specifically, I think in Texas, one of the greatest photographers, and I hope you get him on one day. Is Josh.
Josh
That's his
Lenhart, yep.
last name, Linhart. Yosh Designs. That dude, my goodness, I don't know what he does, but his understanding of light and like to get all arty, like he does that sort of like heroic thing. You go look at his photos. He's got so many photos that the perspective on the player makes it look like they are like not superhuman, but like heroic,
Mhm.
and the lighting is the way he understands it is great. But there's so many great media people in Texas, like uh, Almost Falling. I believe that's the right one. Like she's
Yep.
great. No Soul, and obviously Verbal. Like
Yeah, Verbal.
like
Dylan filmed it.
yeah, Dylan filmed it. Yeah, like I could go on and like, get that shot. Like come on,
Yep.
like the dude's on the pro field. Like there's so many great dudes. So I think, as far as like media, I'd love to see him. I'd love to hear more from Michael Diaz. I don't know if you've had him. I don't think you've had him
Not yet.
for XXV. Uh, what he does, like from what I understand, like he's just like, hey, are you a creator? Like, do you have these cool designs? Let me help you sell things. Let me help you make money. And like,
Mm.
it seems really genuine. And he's a cool dude that like I need to have some conversations with him because
Oh yeah. Yeah,
got lots
he's
of
definitely on the
ideas.
list, and on top of that, he's a hell of a paintball player.
Mhm.
This past weekend at NXL, he was on the finals field with Shut Up or Trying D2,
Solid.
and of course, the year before that, he was playing with Paintball Fit the whole season. Big contributor for them. So definitely on the list to get Michael Diaz on. A few more photographers, videographers that I know in Texas. Shout out to AFG Filming, which is one of my teammates, Adon.
Nice.
Shout out, let's see, of course, Sticks Media. Yeah, lots of really cool. And then let's see, there's another one who's on the Dragoon Sorbet. Is his handle?
They have a lot of great shots. I got to check that out. I'm sorry if whoever I forgot. Like, I respect all of you.
Yeah,
and,
there's so many in Texas that are killing it, and
yeah. I remember,
yeah.
I forget what interview it was, just for some perspective. Like, someone was talking about the Smart Parts series that they did, and like how none of the cameramen like wanted to do it. They weren't used to like getting shot and all that. And these are pros. Like they're getting paid a lot to go do this stuff, and they're like, nah, it's not enough for that. So you guys, like, mad respect to all you media guys out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know like a photographer that the Texas Titans go with, whose handle is Blue PB Sports.
Oh, yeah.
And he posted a reel a couple days ago where he's filming, I think, like a big game or something, and some random dude running and gunning shoots him right in the middle of his lens.
Dude, that would be my nightmare to like be a media guy with rec players. Like, you just shoot anything that moves. Like,
yep.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they definitely deserve more respect for what they do. So let's see. Looking at the chat to see if we got any more questions. Also from Jonathan Tatum. His question is, what's your favorite marker from the 2000s to 2010 era?
2010. I'm gonna upset some folks. Shocker NXT. That one, it's sentimental, but it also just maybe favorite's not the right word. That was I got my brother again hooked it up with a NXT like when they were brand new. I had this thing and it shot better than anything I've ever shot to this day. Like so consistent, so straight, and I know that's gonna upset a lot of folks, but I think what did he from when?
From
The
2000 to
2010?
2010. Yep.
That's such a huge. Come on, John. Like
Yeah, he says
that's
he's
so
even saying
many
in the chat
books.
right now. He says he's gonna say shocker. Knew it. Yep.
Yeah, dude, I can't like. I was a smart parts guy. I had a IR3 too late in the game and ended up with a SFT and was like, this is incredible. It's so light. Like,
Mhm.
and then I got that NXT and like, that was also when I was working at the field. And I mean, I was shooting that gun 4 or 5 times a week, like just
Nice.
going out and snapping or something. Like, that thing, I made sure it shot well. But, I'm sad I got rid of that one. But
Mm.
maybe that was sentimental. Also, like, just proof for like how I don't know. The team was so good. One year, like I was that guy for a long time that would just borrow a gun because I didn't have one. And finally, they were like, "All right, we gotta solve this." And they got me a Lux one year. Like the whole team pitched in, and dude, I don't know, like that Lux shot great, but
Mhm.
I just didn't get to play with it as much as the NXT, and that was a really special time with that Lux. So favorite, like most meaningful, is probably the Lux.
Mhm.
So, and that was like I think that was the first one, Lux One or whatever. So
Gotcha. Yeah. There's it's funny how like just how sentimental you can get over like that first marker that you like just shoots
yeah,
absolutely
man.
perfectly. Like for me, the first marker that I bought on my own was a Stormtrooper CS1, which I actually bought from Nick
Ooh.
Mason's back when he was first
Ooh.
starting out.
Well, of course, it's a
And
Stormtrooper from him.
yeah,
Like,
and I that was like the first gun that I had that shot like actually really well, because before that, the Longhorns had like a bunch of team owned equipment, and it was like E-Tech 3s with rotors that jammed every 10th ball. And after getting that CS1, it was like, oh, I'm not terrible. It was just
this
the
is why people
equipment.
spend
Like
this money.
this is oh, so it was like all starting to come together, and I shot that thing for like 3 years, and it served me so well. Like I got rid of it when I graduated and traded down to get a G-Tech and an EMEX so that I could, play with my siblings, and then got back into it. And this, a couple of weeks ago, I was up in Dallas going to go watch the Dallas Stars, and I was like, you know what? I have this I had a DSR Plus, which shot great. Love the DSR Plus, but
Yeah.
I saw that Mason's had a Stormtrooper CS1. I was like, all right, sorry, DSR, you gotta go. But I gotta get it back.
Do you think it's the same one?
I don't think it's the same one. The one that I
okay.
had, I sold at X Factor. I sold it to Jeff, and then I think it was gone within like 3 days or something like that. So not the exact same one, but still, same colorway. So, and it didn't have that many shots on it either. So it was good.
Hey, there you go. So is that your go-to now?
I mean, my go-to is probably my CS2, which is a BKIT edition CS2.
Ooh, that's special.
And yeah. So, and that one I got from Get That Shot. So I gotta rep that one. But the CS1 definitely gets plenty of time on the field. So yeah.
Did you see the custom, like, Anno guys? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Did you had Ryan Hall?
I had Ryan Hall on, yeah. And I'm wanting to get I'm wanting to get Outlaw anodizing on as well. I want to get those guys like Philip Middleton and all of them.
Yeah, man. Just like I remember Annos when I was coming up, and it was like you could get color and go trade parts.
Yep.
That was it, and like white was you can't get white. That's just not an option. Sorry, guys, and you could powder coat it, but all the parts would be too big or whatever. And the things they do now,
yeah,
like I forget who did it. Carl Markowski's custom ones.
Mm.
Like, I don't know if you remember the feelings of like getting excited about like super cool markers growing up, but I saw that and I was like a child again. I was like, this is so cool. Like, are you kidding me? Like, how did they do that? And the thing, like, just
I mean, not too long ago is pretty much just like splashes and fades. And now
Which
it's
are
like
dope.
you've got
Yeah.
like the Lilo and Stitch marker, Haley Leva's gun, or you've got
Yeah.
Ryan Hall just did like a series of 3 LV2s, which are like the Powerpuff Girls. Like
Oh,
that stuff
and
is insane that what they're able to
yeah.
do.
And I think Outlaw did the Dynasty ones. I don't know if you saw Yosh Rao's.
Yes, yeah.
Dude, those things you guys do, like it. I am like, I applaud you, anodizers. Great job.
Yep, and I got to
Yeah.
get more of them on because that stuff that they're doing is awesome. All right, so Clint, this last question is brought to us by Jell Stewart. Compete. Message him on Facebook or Instagram and mention In the Pits for 10% off of your order of soft goods. So, Clint, thank you so much for your time. Do you have any shout outs or things you'd like to say before we sign off?
Yeah. Yeah. Fog. He's a cool
Oh,
guy.
can you say that one more time? I think your audio cut out for a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Gel did our jerseys for NTX Fog. He's a cool dude.
Cool.
Yeah. Shout outs, first and foremost, my wife Hannah and my kids, Tucker, Charlotte, Shepard, and Arlo. Like they are the ultimate supporters, and I love them. They're great. But so them, my teammates, like my friends, like weird to call them teammates. Like we're friends. John, Derek, Happy, Matt, Jason. Oh man, I'm gonna forget someone and they're gonna be pissed. Reese. Sorry. And Zach and Donnie and all those guys. They're great. But also, I just like have so much gratitude for the amount of support. Like to be supported by people is one thing, and it's amazing. But the people that I've never met before that support me and invest in me, like that's truly inspiring, and I'm so grateful for that. And there's so many, and I'll list a few, but like Colt Roberts was one of the first. I don't know if y'all can see. There's this jersey. I did a watercolor of him, and he wanted it, and I was like, "Yeah, man, just what's your address? Here you go." Like, and he sent me this in return, and I was like, "That is so cool!" Like, he's such a cool guy. And then Brad Baldwin was another guy that really helped me like spring into the scene, and that was when he was doing From Inside the Net, and he asked me to do this cover, and another just incredible honor where it's just I keep getting surprised by how incredible people are. You asking me to be on this is such an honor. Thank you. Quinn from Iconic, he continually supports me, and Carl Markowski from H2K. I don't mean it to sound like a name drop. I just really want to make sure these guys know how much I appreciate them and how much they validate me as in this weird niche pursuit. Nico from Enjoy, Brock and Natasha from Fun on the Run, and the Hormesis guys, Alex and Oliver, like these guys, all these guys. And I know I forgot folks, and I'm sorry, but I really, really appreciate anyone who's investing in this artwork. Like it really means a lot to me. So thank you very, very much.
Yeah, thank you everybody who supports Clint. He does some really cool things for the scene. And it like what you mentioned about even people that don't know us that support us. Like I did my first run of Tech Tees back in I want to say October, November, or something like that. And I had someone purchase a shirt who lives all the way in Ventura, California. And
dude, nice.
Like I'm like, how do like this is a podcast about Texas paintball, and I'm getting people from all parts of the country, and even looking at like the metrics of viewership, like getting people all across the US, some people in Canada, over in Europe, like all sorts of people watching, which for it's still a small production, but Like, it's just cool
Great,
receiving all the support from all different parts. So yeah, thanks to everybody who supports us. Jonathan Taram says, "We love you, Clint," in the chat.
Love you guys.
So yeah, everybody watching and tuning in, thank you so much. Be sure to go follow Clint at Riddlesart on Instagram. What other guests would you like to see on the show? Be sure to leave a comment down below. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. The show goes live weekly here on youtube.com/@inthepitspaintballpodcast. Recordings are posted to YouTube, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify the next day. Quick shout out to my partners and sponsors, FUAthletics, Get That Shot, Paintball Kumite, Compete, and Hustletown Paintball. We will see you all next week for episode 40. We will have Julian Cruz, who's the team captain for Diversity out of Lost Paintball in San Marcos. Diversity, they are going to be competing in next week's Bunkerfest event in D4X Ball, so that'll be a good kind of lead up to that event. So y'all, we will see you next week. Clint, thank you so much for your time.